All right, what is going on, guys? We are here with another Be the Exception podcast. We're here with Dana Paran. Did I say that right? Last name?
Yeah.
Okay. um, we're just gonna go over kind of Dana's athletic history. She just got back from Rogue. Actually, she qualified for Rogue this year. Killed it over in Europe. So we're gonna just kind of run through, get to know her a little bit better, and find out kind of some tips of the trade from her. So Dana, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So you're saying the body's starting to kind of come back from Rogue a little bit?
Yeah, like my body feels good. It's definitely more mental. I think a lot of people can agree with me on that. Like training for or qualifying and then training for it, and then just like having to do it with the jet lag and stuff, just like mentally, I think you get more messed up than physically. Like
Mm,
probably a couple of days after I was fine, but like not itching to get back in the gym at all. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You were saying that you were having trouble sleeping, right? Like right when you got adjusted to time over there, you had to come back here.
Yeah, yeah. Just as I was like about to start waking up at like my normal like 7 a.m., flew right back home, and then I was like waking up at 1. So that was fun getting back into Chicago time.
Yeah. What the time difference is what, 6 hours?
I think it's like 8.
Oh, okay. A
Yeah,
whole
or
yeah,
something. It's significant. It's
yeah,
significant enough. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And it was like quick for you, right? Like you showed up basically what, Tuesday over there?
Tuesday, I showed up late. That was a whole fun experience. And then literally checked in Wednesday, and then we had Thursday off-ish, flush out or whatever. If you wanted to rest, rest. If you didn't. And then Friday we were going. Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm assuming that most people showed up a little bit more in advance than you, or
Yeah, like I feel like I might have been the latest. And that was a complete mistake on not thinking that my plane was going to get canceled. Like you don't, I don't know. Usually at this time of the year, like it's easy to get out of Chicago.
Mhm.
Like there was no snow, there was no, and so I was like, I'll be fine. And then it wasn't. So lesson learned, but most people got there, I would say like either the Saturday prior or Sunday prior.
Oh, okay.
And I got there pretty late. So
Wait, so
my bad.
your first flight got canceled?
Yeah.
Sweet.
I was supposed to get there like Monday, which I think still was probably not enough time. So lesson learned.
Yeah. What happened?
Uh, Not gonna name airlines, but
Is it
I'm not gonna
wait,
try.
it's not an
It was
airline that might have gone bankrupt in the last week, is it?
no, no, no,
Okay.
no, 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 no. I don't even think they fly over there, but like it was. Um, I literally like show up like I'm pretty early for international flights. Like I was like 2.5 hour, 3 hours early, almost three
Okay.
hours early, and then like literally as I pulled up, they like canceled it, and I was like, so, and they didn't like even try to rebook me, and so they just like threw me on a different airline, um, which I think I appreciated more because I was supposed to go to London and then London to Aberdeen. I went to Dublin and then Dublin to Aberdeen, and I think I like going to Dublin more.
Okay.
Because I heard London. I've never been to London Heathrow Airport, and I heard it's crazy.
Okay.
So, um, Dublin was like much more chill. Like I think they're like customs. I literally like walk. There's two women in like they're like like casual suits, and they just looked at my airport and they were like, and then that was it. Like there's no like checking anything, and I was like, oh okay. Oh, like that always gives me a little anxiety. And I was like, okay, that's cool.
That was customs? It
Um,
was literally just a
that was
thumbs up and you're
literally
through.
yeah. They looked at my passport and they were like, okay.
That's sweet. That's sweet.
So yeah. Um, but like I said, overall, like if I had to sum it up, overall, I loved it. Loved it all.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get more into that, but you are just so you've actually had like an extensive kind of athletic background, even from like, playing actual sports. I guess CrossFit you can consider an actual sport, but ball sports maybe is a better way to say it.
Yeah.
But you've had a pretty extensive athletic background. You mind just like kind of telling us a little bit more about that? Just kind of your history of training and playing sport.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna like enter. I don't remember a time where I wasn't in a sport.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like from literally from like age like 4. And so like my first like I feel like I've had many lives, but like my first serious sport was basketball,
Okay.
and that was like in high school. Um, and I was like okay, but like it was like mentally it was the first sport that I like really threw myself into, if that makes
Hmm.
sense.
Hmm.
And then um went to like college, went to my first university, and then I probably should have taken a gap year, but I kept like kind of switching majors, and then I was like, I don't know. And then I kind of found, well, I guess just being in a Globo gym. I guess it was like bodybuilding-ish. Um, and then for that I kind of found CrossFit, not like on purpose. I just kind of like saw it and was like, oh, that looks stupid. And and
what
then
what time frame was that you saw it?
this is probably like a year or like my high school year, my senior year of high school, like going into my first year of college.
So is that like
And
was that like mid 2010s?
no, so mid like 2015.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, because I graduated high school in 2014.
Okay. Got it. Got it. Yeah.
And like yeah, and I saw it and I was just like, oh, that's stupid. And then I I tried a CrossFit workout. Like I just think I just Googled it, and then I tried it in like this Globo gym because they had a functional fitness spot.
Yeah.
And then I like about threw up. I quit, and then I about threw up, and I was like, oh my god, it's just so hard. Like I thought I was
Would you
fit from basketball.
do you remember what the workout was?
I think it was like Whitman. It was a hero wad.
Oh, it was a hero workout.
It was really simple, and it's like it had like box jumps, like kettlebells. It was like very simple. It wasn't like overly complicated, but I just remember being like, "Oh my god, I DNF'd or something like that."
Yeah.
And I thought like at that time, I think everyone thinks that running is like the epitome of fitness,
Back
and
at
so
that
like
time
I was like,
frame for sure.
yeah, I was like, oh, I run a lot. And yeah, I got my ass kicked by that workout, and then I was like, okay, maybe this is like different. Like maybe this is something new.
Yeah.
And so I went to the gym that it was like down the street, I guess,
Hmm.
and did a trial class, or loved it or whatever.
Is this
And
this is while you're
then
this is while you're in college now, or
no, I'm like this is like the summer before I leave for college.
okay? And you were planning on
Because I
playing
remember I had
basketball.
yeah,
Sorry.
but I was gonna try to walk on. I was gonna try to
Okay.
walk on into the D1 team,
Got it. Okay.
and then um, I quickly found that I was progressing way faster in weightlifting than the other elements, like faster than monostructural or like
Hmm.
gymnastics.
Hmm.
And so did the USAW coach in this gym noticed that too. So then she kind of like uh introduced me to like the lifts, and then I kind of ended up gravitating towards USAW.
Hmm.
So like I did cherry pick wads in the gym, but then I just like straight up went to weightlifting.
Yeah.
Um so this is around like 2015, 2016.
Hmm.
Um I end up sticking around. I end up going to the community college in my hometown because I wanted to weightlift more. Like
Okay.
I thought that I could actually like be pretty good in it.
Hmm.
And then it within like my first meet, I qualified for nationals for junior nationals. And then uh literally my second meet, I'm at nationals, and then I win nationals.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So like that's
Okay.
I in 2 meets, I literally became the national champ. Yeah, it was kind of crazy because like at that point the weightlifting was starting to die. I remember
Mhm.
this, and then I think Rogue and CrossFit kind of like reignited weightlifting. This is about 2016 era.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what exactly. Do you remember what exactly it was that it kind of like set it off?
I think Maddie Rogers kind of paved the way for that.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yep.
So like,
When she
I mean, a lot
shattered
of
the window.
yeah, yeah. Like, so a lot of people like obviously don't like if you only win it once, they may not know who you are. But like, so Maddie Rogers is a little bit older than me. I
Okay.
won it after she aged out. I took her title.
Oh, okay.
I literally like succeeded her. Yeah, so I was like right after her.
Okay.
Um, and then I aged out. So then I became a senior at that point.
Okay. Got it. Got it.
So I only was like my like trajectory was really quick, but then it was really short because I had entered in weightlifting really late.
Okay.
So, at that point, I get like an offer to lift full time for the USA. They call it something else now, but it's the Olympic training site at Northern Michigan.
Okay.
So they had like a residency program, and the deal was just basically like I have to lift full time, but I also have to go to school full time. So that meant like
Mm.
minimum of like 12 hours
Hmm.
of school or credits. And so I ended up accepting it. I went there for a little bit, and the transition was a lot harder because I moved like halfway across the country. Um, Lifting weights and trying to go to school full time was like it's like two jobs.
Yeah.
And so that was like I did not do that well transitioning over,
Yeah.
but
Did you,
I th
was there, so
go
like, was
ahead.
there, were you trying to like perform both in school and weightlifting and like you weren't trying to give in either or? Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, and I kind of not that I felt like I don't half-ass anything, but I kind of felt like it just like I was just like bleh at both.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
yeah. And also like I was so as a weightlifter, I don't know what it is in pounds maybe, but I was in the 64 kilo class.
Okay.
So that's like
135, right? Something like that.
no, it's like
140,
140 or
145,
somewhere yeah. Yeah, but like and so
140.
just right. So 140. I'm 160 now. I'm a little bit less now that I've lost a little bit of weight from Rogue, but
Okay.
like no, I'm but like 20 pounds lighter than I am now, and I felt I was so skinny.
That's
Yeah,
brutal.
and like yeah, I felt like I just yeah, I felt like it was. I don't think I was supposed to be in that weight class too. I think I was supposed to be up.
Right, right.
Um,
Those weight class
and
sports are
then
so hard too because you're just
yeah,
like you're doing what your body isn't meant to do. You know?
no. And most people train above like well, some of the guys on the team they would train like I don't know how they did it, but they would train like 5 to 10 kilos above and then lose all of it for the meet. And I was like, how do you do? I don't know how you do
That's
that.
impressive. 20 pounds above what they were competing at.
Yeah, and I don't know how they did it because I was like, I mean, there's lots of tricks like spitting in a cup, sitting in a
Sweat,
sauna,
trash,
or yeah,
sweatsuit in the
trash
sauna.
bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of little tricks like salt manipulation, water manipulation, but that's kind of dangerous. Um, and yeah, I mean, I just if I ever return to weight, which I don't think I ever will, like I would just stay at whatever weight I'm at.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but like fast forward to it's like 2017. I'm like I would do CrossFit if I needed to cut,
Hmm.
like if I need to just do a little cardio. It's
Hmm.
way more fun than doing like steady state or whatever.
Right.
And then I end up injuring myself on a pegboard. Like I fell straight off the top, and that kind of just ends like whatever Olympic shit I had going on.
What?
And
So like how close were you to like what were your numbers like? Was it like, hey, in 4 years I got a shot at this, or was it kind of, or like 3 years, I
um,
guess?
I feel like I was getting better. Because it is weird. Like Olympians think in quads. Like
Right.
it's kind of wild to be like, oh, and I'm a quad. Like in 4 years, my cycle is 4 years. And CrossFit, we're thinking in months, like a 4 week cycle, blah blah. Blah.
Maybe
And
even
like it's
weeks.
very yeah, it's very delayed of instant gratification. So
Yeah.
like I think I probably would have been a lot better. I honestly don't know, but like my numbers were okay. Like I would snatch close to 90 kilos, which is like 200 at that
Hmm.
weight class. Making it to the Olympics, probably not because it's a little bit like, um, well, there's a lot of politics and then there's a lot of like, you want to choose the people who would easily put the best medals up. So like my weight class and the weight class above me, very competitive in the world standpoint. And so like, we're not going to send women to just get beat up, even though they're
Mm.
strong.
Hmm.
They'll
Hmm.
send like either really lightweight or really heavyweight people
Hmm.
because that's usually like the easiest or could medal the most.
Yeah.
Um so I don't so the true answer is like I don't know. I was like okay. Um I'm actually better now at weightlifting, which is funny. Um because they say like oh cardio interferes with it's actually really ironic, but um
I just think that there's things that weightlifting misses, like the amount of reps that you do in CrossFit and the different variations that you pull from helps you out
yeah.
so much. And weightlifting is just like it's almost too structured. It seems like
Yeah.
for some
Yeah,
people.
I mean it's yeah, like it's you have to be I mean I'm very type A, but you definitely need to love it. You
Yeah.
gotta love it. Like hardcore. And I still do. It's just like I think CrossFit allows me to relax a little bit more.
Okay. Yeah.
In a good way, not like a bad way, but just to have more fun with it because I feel like even when I go back to like or weightlifting gyms, like they're very like it feels like a church. And I'm just like and I'm just like,
Yeah.
this is not
So,
like
yeah.
you can't like and I know all the etiquette like don't ever walk in front and like I personally don't care if you walk in front of me like it's not my sport anymore so like and also have you ever been to a CrossFit competition there's 80 million things happening when you're trying to lift so like
Yeah.
that's not very
You got
yeah I'm
Steve
like
screaming literally in your
yeah
face as you're about to
yeah
one arm your snatch.
and like yeah exactly so I'm like that's not it, if honestly if you miss it just because someone walks in front of you I think you have
Bigger fish to
there's
fry.
something else go yeah yeah
Yeah. Yeah.
um
Plus, like this is not a knock on weightlifting, but like when somebody hits a lift and so I didn't tell you this on our discovery call, but I remember so I think I coach Amanda Fisher, who is like she's also very very strong. And I was
yeah I've
watching the
competed
early
against her
yeah,
yeah
and so I was watching the
yeah
earlier heats in 2023 to see like what some of the girls were hitting snatch wise, and I remember you hitting it was 205, right?
I hit 210
210. Yeah. So I remember you hitting 210. I was like, fuck. There's probably a second place for Amanda now.
yeah what
But
did she end up hitting
she hit 205 there. Yeah.
okay
Yeah.
nice yeah
Um, but I remember it's just like the hype around lifts in CrossFit is just so much bigger. Like I was actually standing right behind your family and they went fucking nuts. It was so
yeah
cool.
yeah that the story behind that lift is actually really funny so I miscounted the weights because I
Oh.
use kilos a lot
Oh.
so in my head so I honestly I because I'm not like I was overthinking it a bit and I was like, oh fuck, we have that 800-meter run
Right.
into this snatch. I could hit maybe 85%. And I was like aiming for just like maybe 200.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, maybe. So I don't know if you were paying attention to what I hit, but so I started out pretty hot. I went 175
Yes.
and then I mistake. This is where I made the mistake. I thought I put 190 and I put 200.
Oh, but I think you told
And
your judge 190, right?
yes,
And
I
they put
told my judge
yeah,
190.
okay, yeah, and they put that on the
So
placard, right?
they put on the thing and I hit it and I was just like, oh, that just felt a little weird. And my judge was like, that was 200. And I was like, oh, is it? Like, I remember rewatching it, and you saw it. I was like, oh. And then that's where I kind of like let all the anxiety go because I already hit what I wanted to hit.
Yeah, so it's just like
Yeah.
whatever now.
And then, yep. And then I went, oh, fuck it. And I put 210. And I was like, and then, cause like I just made a 15-pound jump, like,
Right.
or a 25-pound jump.
Which is at that, like, because that was, you probably went what, 80% right up to 100% and hit it.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I didn't know what my 100% was at that time.
Yeah,
So
well, I
like
guess it was 210 now.
yeah. And so, well, I hit like 220 before. So like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so like it's not like I hit 210 in training for that event, but like I didn't know if I was going to hit 210. Like I missed it and I was like, "Oh."
Hmm.
And so and then I think there was like 10 seconds left and I knew
Hmm.
we could lift it and I like just hyped the crowd up and I was like, if I
Yeah.
miss it, I miss it. If I don't, I don't. And then I made it and then I think the crowd went wild.
Wild. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, because but they kept, but again, I thought it was, or like I said, we messed up the placard thing. So like, yeah, but it was good because I think then after that, everyone was trying to hit 210 or somewhere around that after me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and so it was really fun to see like everyone try to like rise to that level.
Hmm. Hmm.
And expect more of themselves because I think it really showed that like the CrossFit girls can snatch,
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, that was a super crazy event. Like some of the numbers that ladies were putting up in that were very, very impressive. So,
Yeah. Like
yeah.
I do regret not just snatching 220 and just like having the world record on that because like the 210 felt like nothing and the jumps I made were like crazy. They were crazy mentally for me. So like I think
Mhm.
that in itself is just like a PR. So yeah.
Totally. Do you find that like when you're weightlifting, you're kind of just like where you're in that like structured state of like, okay, I'm gonna hit my, my one lift here, rest 2 minutes, and then I'm gonna go or like sit down and then come back and hit the next one. Do you feel like you're just overthinking things too much, and then in something like a CrossFit where there's like so much chaos going on, it like helps you to just keep yourself in the moment a little bit more, or
Yeah, actually, because like I don't lift like that at all anymore. Like the 2 minutes of rest in
right?
between, which is like people like from a scientific standpoint, that's probably a little bit. They're probably like, "Why are you doing that?" It's also like, well, because our sport isn't like that. So,
Hmm.
um, I yeah, I agree. You don't think as much, or you just let your training take over. You just let
Hmm.
everything that's you've been practicing take over, and it definitely is just like you just get more aggressive too. I think because you're
Totally.
tired. Yeah,
Right.
you're in that metcon, especially you're hitting that last, and I love it. And it feels great to hit like your one rep or above that during a metcon.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
The body just
You're
feels
like, well,
actually
you
warmed
definitely
up.
have more. Yeah. You're like, you definitely have more in you. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I don't I think women I think there's a subset of athletes that actually just lift better in general, doing some sort of like conditioning piece beforehand. I think
Yeah.
there's a central nervous system component to lifting, and I think some people just need almost like overstimulation for their central nervous system
Mm,
to like refine their patterns. And we
yeah.
actually saw that in 2021 at West Coast. After the run, the guys were smoked. Like they were smoked. None of them hit anywhere close to what I think they were anticipating to hit for the clean and jerk.
Mm,
And the ladies came in and crushed it. Like you saw them hitting PRs across the board. And so I think it actually holds a little bit more true for ladies to get like almost pre-fatigued, and then come
mm,
in and hit some heavier lifts. So,
yeah.
but
Yeah, I agree.
yeah. Okay, so weightlifting, you were weightlifting. Sorry, that was like a crazy tangent.
Yeah. I think-
So you're weightlifting. You broke you broke your ankle, right? Falling from that pegboard, or
Yeah. So I did, if want the specifics, I dislocated my ankle or dislocated my heel. It came clean off, but my talus, so the joint that allows you to basically just dorsiflex, plantar flex, even like all that, um, that completely shattered. Like it was like
mm,
mush, like to put it nicely.
Yeah.
Um, and it was a lot worse when I went in for surgery because they had to do like an emergency bone graft. So they had to take bone from my tibia, add it to my ankle because there was like nothing they could basically like make it from.
Okay.
And then I was non-weight bearing for like 14 weeks or something like that.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, I lost like a ton of, even to this day, like the discrepancy between like my left and my right leg is still a bit off.
Yeah. Like
Um,
mobility wise
and
or
like,
strength wise?
oh, my mobility is shit on my left ankle now too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, so if you look really closely sometimes at like me competing, you can see my ankle come up. But
Mm-hmm.
like I try to minimize it with like other lifters or I'll pull like especially pistols, I'll pull it into my quad just because I literally cannot keep my heel down on pistols on that side.
Yeah.
Um and my like double under endurance is kind of crap too. So like
Mm.
it's little things here and there it kind of add up.
Mm-hmm.
But it just kind of like working through it. But yeah. So
Yeah.
like my that happened and then um when you're like non-weight bearing, well, when I was non-weight bearing, and then plus I got like a little depressed from just like I literally went from like being this like resident weightlifter in one day to boom, just like nothing.
That's got to be
And
crazy for
then,
like for just your identity
yeah,
to be taken away like that.
right. And then, um, like literally in one day, and
Yeah.
then just going from that. So like I ended up losing, I told my coach, lost my spot at the residency. Um, and then just kind of was like, I was like, okay, well, I'll just finish school now.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a CrossFit gym near my school. It was the same CrossFit gym that I broke my foot at, but like ended up just kind of wanting to get back into just something, like anything, just to move because I gained a bunch of weight. Um, and this is like 2018.
Yeah.
I think I did the open. I think I did the open, and I did it as like a complete cripple too.
Did you have a
Um,
scooter or?
No, no, I had like a peg leg, like a pirate peg leg. It was the funniest thing. It was great, but what happened? It caused. I regret using it. I wish I got a scooter because it changed my walking gait. My hips
Oh,
swung. Yeah,
yeah.
and that was a huge issue. Like coming back, like running took forever to come back. And so me being like I was in college, really poor. Um, I was an exercise science major though, so I even did my own I did my own senior project on myself,
Mm-hmm.
which is retraining my gait.
Yeah.
So I would like film, use all the fancy biomechanics stuff we had, film it on a treadmill. I would repeat that like forever and ever.
Yeah.
Um, so I ended up fixing my own gait, doing physical therapy on myself, and then uh, over the course of that year and a half to I just got the itch to be like, like once you're competitive, you're probably always going to be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was just like, I don't know, maybe I should try. So I started doing qualifiers here and there. I think that year was the first year that or 2019 was the year that the sanctionals format was
Yeah.
out.
Okay. Yep.
And so it was cool. Like I didn't know what was going, no one kind of knew what was going on, but we were just like, let's just do a bunch of qualifiers. And then I qualified for like, at least I think everything that I tried for. The problem is just like when you're not like professional, like getting to those places are kind of hard. So like I think I qualified for it was strength and depth, which
In
was
the UK.
London. Yeah. And now it's completely different. I think it's like teams now or something.
Yeah, they did change their format after that. I can't. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like but then I couldn't afford to go because I was still in college. So I
Yeah.
didn't I declined that. And
Sanctionals
then
were
I
cool
made
because
it
you got to like
they
travel the
were.
world, but then it was like, oh, this is expensive as shit.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was great because, like I said, there was like 80 million ways to get to the games,
Right.
and then
Right.
you still had like the top 20 people in the open and blah blah
Yeah.
blah. And then the next one I qualified for was Asia CrossFit Championships, and that
Mhm.
was my uh first individual competition.
In CrossFit.
And yes, in CrossFit.
Yeah.
And then ironically, that's been my best finish or closest finish to the games
So I
because I
guess,
got like fourth or fifth. I don't know what it was.
yeah, and there was like a couple backfill spots or something at that
Yeah.
time. So what,
Yeah.
like competing in weightlifting and then going and competing in CrossFit, what were like the big differences between those two?
Just more stuff.
Yeah.
Like
I
more
mean,
stuff
outside of
to,
the obvious.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, like more stuff to focus on. And
yeah.
especially like, you talk about like athletes and, um, what you're genetically born to do. Like I was
Hmm.
born to sprint. I was born a power athlete.
Hmm.
And like having to literally like train to force your muscles to change into like, type 1
Hmm.
and like endurance, that is like and even to this day, like that's still my crutch a
Hmm.
lot of the time. So like um gymnastics and monostructural take the longest,
Hmm.
especially if you don't work on it.
Yeah.
And um, it's obviously easier if you come in with like either gymnastics or weightlifting because then
Hmm.
you get to focus a little bit less on one of the three.
Hmm.
So like I would say, yeah, I think just honestly gymnastics and weightlifting and ironically that's till this day still the obviously what I'm working on most.
Okay.
And it's like I said, really easy to get. Well, it's easy to get burned out in any sport, but
Hmm.
really easy to get burned out in CrossFit.
Yeah. 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 You
Yeah.
had mentioned that because you had some burnout going into basketball, right?
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
you kind of had some burnout in weightlifting as well. Is that correct?
Um,
Or was it more so just the injury?
not really.
Okay.
Yeah, just the injury. Yeah, more I haven't had as much burnout as I did going out of basketball and then in 2021 with CrossFit.
You had some burnout in 2021 with CrossFit.
Yeah, so like I 2019 and then COVID was like 2020. I didn't really do anything.
Hmm.
And then I was lucky that I was at a gym where like it was like so small and it was private that you could have like one or two people at a time like switch in, switch out.
Oh wow. Okay.
And so like I took yeah, so like I was like, oh, this is great. Like I can still work on things and I think I just like mentally with everything going on in the world at that time and then just like burying myself into training to be like this is um like mental health and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
like I think I just burned like I overworked myself that year and
Okay.
then I qualified um I feel like they kept I don't even know what happened in that year. They kept changing the format. But in 2022, the open rolled around um
That was
made it to yeah.
that was the year that they did four,
Uh,
right? Granite Games, Syndicate.
yeah, but yeah, so yeah, they did like random ones, but then they like just it was top 120 in
And
the
you went,
US.
yeah, and you went to like then you got chosen to go to a specific one, right?
Yeah, they just like dispersed you however.
Yes. Okay. Yep.
Um Qualified for semis in 2022 and then was so burned out at that point that I like I think I remember like maybe I would go to the gym like once a week, but then it'd be like the shittiest training. And I was like, I cannot go to semis like this. Like I
Yeah.
cannot show up like this.
Yeah.
And then I ended up just declining.
Okay.
So I would have gone to Syndicate in 2022.
So you
Yes.
were saying that you were showing up to the gym one time a week during that time frame?
Like once or twice a week, and now it's just like it was so burned out. Like like when you're just like, fuck, I hate this, like that type of feeling.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was more so just because it
And
was like a tinier gym and it was like you didn't have anybody around or
oh well, so at this point there was a lot going on, but like I had moved to Chicago,
oh,
and
okay.
but at that point, like from coming out of COVID and like having trained through, like, I think a lot of people just couldn't literally go to the gym, so like they didn't have that push that like I could though, and I kept training and training and training and training and
Yeah.
training.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so like by the time I got to qualifying, I was like spent, you
Yeah.
know. And so like that, I was when I was like realizing I literally was not even training anymore. It was more for just like, I'm gonna show up and just do this for mental health. I was like, it's
Hmm.
not, you can't go and compete like this.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Um, and so I declined. I took a little bit time off.
Hmm.
Uh,
And that time off you felt helped kind of like reset and like get rid of some of the burnout, or?
yeah, like you really like, because like with burnout, a lot of people don't realize like once you get to that point and then you keep going, it's harder to get out.
Hmm.
Like you will get to the point where you just hate everything about fitness, even taking a walk and like that. You don't ever want to get to that point.
Hmm.
Um, and so took a, like, I don't know what time it was off, but then I ended up took a good time off, ended up going back into competition. I think I if we can even call this a competition. Can West. Can West. I think
Yeah,
I
we
told you
talked
about
about
this.
those competitions a little bit.
Um yeah, the competition that never paid out.
Yeah, yeah.
But that was like my first, and it kind of sucked like to like take time off and then being like excited for a competition and then to come out and being like you just got scammed.
Yeah. Because they had some like pretty big
Like
payouts too, right?
they did, and like it was kind of wild because like they like raised the prize purse during the competition too. It was kind of weird.
Wait, while you guys were
And
competing, they're like, we're giving you more money.
they raised it when they announced like the top 10. So like for example, I think I remember they were being like at
Whoa.
10th place you get, instead of it being like 2000, they were like you get 2300, like,
Where did they think
which is
this
really
money
weird.
came from?
I don't know. I don't even know. But it was crazy because like they invited like HWPO out there. They invited like heavy hitters and
Wow.
stuff,
Yeah.
and then like didn't pay out any. I think they maybe paid out their media people, but that's about it.
That's nuts.
Um,
Can't like this is not trying to knock Canada people, but they have had a history of
no,
not great competitions. I don't know if you heard what happened at Atlas
yeah,
Games in 2020 at all.
no, I didn't.
So obviously, like COVID's going on, places are shutting down. They said they're still having the competition, so everybody flew out there. They canceled it. They got everybody together in a building and told them we're canceling this, and offered no refunds at all. And then the next year, when it was CrossFit sanctioned events, they didn't even give people like a ticket to come back out and compete at their thing because they were only doing elite athletes. So like they just literally all registration for that competition for a sanctional got pocketed by them.
Yeah, because like it's that Can West, Can East also
Yeah,
not great.
yeah.
Um, Canada, what y'all doing?
You guys are fit as fuck, but maybe you need to step up the competition game.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, man, that sucks. Like, obviously, it sucks because, like, CrossFit competitions are, at least good paying ones, are hard to come by. So, like,
Right,
yeah.
right. Yeah.
Um, Fast forward to, um, it's fine. I come back. I'm like, whatever. I lost money. And it was actually, I wasn't that mad because it was in Vancouver, and
Hmm.
like Vancouver's beautiful. Like, if you've ever been to Vancouver, you need to go.
Right, right.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're
And
like,
I
at
was like,
least,
oh no, whatever.
yeah, at least I
Yes.
got a cool like destination trip out of this one.
Yeah. Loved it in there, and ended up, I think this is a year that, well, Dubai is random. They like sometimes invite, they sometimes qualify. Sometimes invite,
Yeah.
sometimes qualify. This is the year of qualifying. I qualified. This is when they only had 20 though,
Okay.
which is kind of important because like 20 to field of 20 to field of 30 is very significant.
Hmm.
In terms of also like prize purse payout and also just like quality of the competition.
Right.
And so it was the first, still a field of 20. I think I scooched in at like 17 or something like that.
Okay.
and didn't get penalized. And then I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go. Like, why not? Dubai is like super high. They're known for having like really high caliber athletes, games
Yeah.
athletes especially. And went, had a blast. Met some like met some of the girls that I know now that I knew at Rogue, so that was cool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think I took 10th or something like that.
Oh, that's solid.
Or yeah, yeah. So it's not bad.
Yeah, and
Had a couple.
that's a pretty good payout
Yeah,
too at 10th, right?
yeah. It was pretty good. And then then they also paid out for like first, second, third, which
Okay.
is super nice.
Right,
So
right.
like
Yep.
per placement, yeah. Because I got a couple seconds and I got a couple thirds, so that
Oh,
was
nice.
nice.
Yeah. That's
Um,
sweet. And
yeah.
were they still paying out in cash at that point in time or?
Uh, no, like they wouldn't like if you won your entire prize purse, they wouldn't pay in the entire prize purse in cash, but they would do like they would give you the stipend that they promised when you landed, like when you came to check
Oh,
in.
okay.
So like they give you like a five. I think my year was only $500. It used to be like a
Okay.
thousand.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but that's still nice. Like
Oh,
paying
yeah.
something helps.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, like anything
Yeah,
helps.
they're all about paying people out. So like I think one of the first years they did it, if you like won an event, the sheik would come over and literally just hand you a stack of cash. And so people were like flying their family members out because like I guess you can only fly internationally with like 10 grand in
Yeah,
cash or something like that.
yeah,
They're like, you're coming with me so that if I win more than 10 grand, like you can take the
right.
cash back.
Yeah, and it was super nice. Like I think I want to say they went 3, 2, 1, 3,000, 2,000, 1,000 the year
Okay.
I did it. I'm not sure about that, but it was pretty
Yeah.
good. So
Yeah.
like, um, uh, that's also where I met Lazar.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, it was like a very brief but like I said, it's more intimate, so you actually get to know
Hmm.
like the men, and you get to know some of the women.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, so I make it back to Semifinals 2023. That
Hmm.
was the snatch year.
Hmm.
Uh, and then I was supposed to go to Dubai again. I got injured, so I had to sit that out. And then because I got my invite back, and then haven't fast forward to 2024 semis, and then Rogue this year. So that's
Yeah.
like pretty much the only competitions that I've done, which is actually not a lot.
Right, right, right. And you were kind of
Yeah.
talking about that a little bit on the phone too. Is like you've literally had almost next to no CrossFit competition experience and it's all like crazy high level experience as well.
Yeah, and you just at that level, like the little things matter, and so like, if I could do it again, I need to do more competitions.
Yeah, right, right.
Yeah, just for that experience. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um and that was kind of some of the things that you were talking about you learned at Rogue, right? Was just like how to move a barbell, how to like um you know, transition from thing to thing, right?
Mm. Yeah, like I like those little things I've done. Like I think I went into Rogue with probably the most experience. Like I didn't feel like there was like a huge learning curve.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Better than past years. It just I think it's just like we all know that Rogue is very like surprise. Like there's so many elements of surprise that you just like you gotta chill out or else you'll get overwhelmed.
Yeah, yeah.
So like you just kind of you need to really learn. You need to know how to pivot or be able to learn how to pivot really quickly and just
Mhm.
go with it because
Mhm.
otherwise you'll just get left behind, you know?
Right, right. So what are some of the things that you're hoping like doing some um more individual competitions you're hoping to learn this year then?
That's a great question because like even talking about like 2025 season, like none of us really know what's going on,
Right,
at least
true.
so far.
True, true.
Um, and then like yesterday with like CrossFit putting out the statement and like
Yep.
we all knew. I mean, when I read it, I was so chill. I was like, I already expected this in August. Like, I'm not gonna pour any more energy into this. Like,
Right.
you hired a third party company to investigate for you. You were never gonna give us the
It's
information.
such bullshit.
Like,
Like
No.
It's
Yeah.
such bullshit.
But also for like legal reasons, like I know for legal reasons, like you probably are not supposed to, anything that you put out there would be slightly admitting some guilt.
For sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
Like I totally understand why they didn't release it. I think it was more so like I don't know if you read all that six change thing that they're gonna make that literally is
yeah,
no changes because
said
everything just
nothing. Yeah,
reroutes back to Dave and Dawn already again. So it's
yeah,
like, cool, you guys did nothing. Awesome.
no. And it's crazy because like I think about like I try to like I sat there and I thought about it like if CrossFit was like corporate and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like people will get fired left and right. No
Day
one's gotten
of
fired.
day of people would be
Yeah,
gone, and there would be criminal
yeah,
trials.
yeah. Like nothing. It's crazy because I was like nothing. Like there's no the fact. I think the fact that there's like no accountability is wild.
Yeah.
Because like usually they'd be like, but I mean I get whatever. Um, and so like I'm honestly like I'm just kind of in the shadows waiting
Yeah.
because like I am I'll just come out and say it like to be transparent. Like I'm on that side of the field where I did not agree how CrossFit handled it and like
Hmm.
I didn't if I made it this year, I would have dropped out day
Yeah.
one because like I when I read it here and just like knowing Lazar and like I was crying here and I
For
was like
sure.
just here like I
Yeah.
wasn't even like there
Right.
and it took I like couldn't train I was like messed up and so I was like there's no way that I could have done all that
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and so like I know there's new like I want to call them federations like World Fitness Project. I've seen that from Will Morad
Okay.
and like just look I'm watching and looking and just waiting because it's
Yeah.
like I don't I don't know what is going on. I'm going to
Hmm.
expect a massive drop from CrossFit participation in
Yeah.
general.
100%. Yep. Yep.
Affiliation, I know affiliation has dropped
Hmm.
from Brian Friend and so like yeah, I mean there's plenty of non-sanctioned or competitions outside of CrossFit season. And if
Yep.
anything, I think there's actually like more to do because you're not like just a sitting duck from the open to quarterfinals and semifinals and
Yeah.
then you're like, oh, and now I can go compete after you know what I mean? So
Now,
like
now I can actually go make money. Cool.
yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to be surprised if people are going to shove their competitions back into like the CrossFit season to be just, you know, like I don't know if Crash would do it, but like um just to see like more major US competitions like Wadapalooza or like NorCal get
Hmm.
pushed more into the actual CrossFit season
Yeah.
just because there'll be less participation in general.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I have a list of competitions that I think are noteworthy.
Hmm.
Um and obviously still have high caliber athletes
Yeah.
that I think will be good for me and other people to go to. But
For sure.
like honestly, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I know
yeah,
everyone's kind of like in a holding pattern right now. Like
yeah,
I know some of my athletes like already with that coming out, they're like, yeah, I'm not doing the open this year. Like I'll
yeah,
go and compete in the spring and have fun, like going and competing at like good, well run competitions, but like I'm definitely not going to do two online competitions to try and hopefully like I guess that's like the projected standard right now for the season. But they're like, I can if I want to do an online qualifier, I can. There's hundreds to choose from. Like I'll just
yeah,
pick if I want
yeah,
to work out in my gym and compete in my gym, I'll do that. I want to go to like live competitions. So there's definitely some catalyst that's happening in the sport right now, and like the landscape over the next couple of years is definitely going to go look pretty different for sure.
yeah. I mean, we obviously want CrossFit to change, but like I'm gonna believe in the pattern that they've been holding, and
Hmm.
so like um unless anything dramatic, super dramatic happens, which it probably won't, then I don't know. And I hope sponsors, you know, back us up because like it's that pressure of being like, I don't feel comfortable doing this, but like this is my job
Right.
kind of a thing. It's
Right.
like, I don't know. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I think you guys are probably gonna have a lot more backing than I know it's like tumultuous times right now, but I think you guys are gonna have a lot more backing
yeah,
than you realize. That whole incident, like I think it upset a grand majority of the people in and how it was handled,
yeah.
how there's nobody being held accountable, etc. I think there's a pretty big change coming in the sport. So
What kind of sucks though about this coming year, and I'm gonna just put that out there because like CrossFit Games will still hold that phrase of fittest on earth, right?
yep, yep,
And like I would put money that like I could feel that a lot of big names probably will not compete in the CrossFit Games season
mm-hmm,
this year.
mm-hmm,
Um, and so like this year's just gonna be this next year's just gonna be really weird.
mm-hmm.
And I personally don't think that that title will be appropriate, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
right, right,
Um, especially if I know like the big names that won't compete in that.
right.
So it's like the relevancy of this next year's batch of athletes is just gonna be like a mixed bag.
Yeah, yeah, and
Um,
it's kind of weird too because like in the past it's always been next person up for CrossFit. So like if somebody fades
yeah,
out, like it can change. But I think with the popularity that a lot of these people have, and more than likely the amount of them that are going to be stepping away, I think that's going to be a huge hit to the organization as a whole. We'll see, but
yeah, yeah.
so so unsure what is next then. Just kind of waiting.
Yeah, and it's like it would be nice to know because it's like almost December. but like you know, I mean, I knew when they didn't announce anything. I think it was like last month because like
Hmm.
I swear like every year past, literally post games, they would announce like the venue, they would announce a thing, it would sell out. This year's like nothing. Like
Yeah,
no information whatsoever, no open information whatsoever, blah blah blah.
right.
So like um and I mean we all are just kind of waiting and like but I mean some of us have it's kind of split. Some of us are on like Luca's side, some of us in the middle, some of us like are on the CrossFit will change side, and it's like
Hmm.
you know, only time will tell type of
Hmm.
deal.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah. Um, yeah, so I guess maybe more of like a less somber note, and then kind of we can kind of wrap up here. Like, how awesome was Rogue?
Yeah.
It was. You said it was
Oh,
like the
I
best
was
competition you've ever done.
yes. Like I said, if I describe it, it's flying like first class, first class, and then never want to fly economy again.
Yeah, yeah. They said they treated you guys just like super well there.
Yeah, it was just like they were so chill too. Like it was the most serious competition I've done, the most chill competition I've done at the same time. Because every time they're just like, if you need anything, like let us know. Like never have I ever gotten that at press semis. Like
Yeah,
everything's just like you figure it out. We'll post a schedule on Instagram.
yeah, yeah.
Like it's yeah, and so like it's very like Hunger Games when you go to like semis and stuff. And this is just
Right.
like here we have masseuses for you. Like it was I was like kind of blown away.
You're like, what?
Um yeah, and they were really just like the standards were nice. Like they were just very straightforward. They're like, we don't care. Just get up on the wall, get down on the wall. We're not gonna like look at your feet. You just make it look good, work hard. It felt like we were actually just like working hard and trying to like beat
Hmm.
each other versus like, oh, I stepped on the line wrong or like I don't know, just
Yeah.
weird stuff.
Right. Right.
Like you didn't move your barbell an inch further or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yep. Yep.
The only event that was kind of like that was the power stair. Like you had to get the last step, you had to get it across. I don't know if you could see it on the feed, but you had to get it across the red line and then hit the button.
Oh,
And
okay.
so if you didn't get it fully across, you got penalized. And so that's how a lot of penalties happen.
Okay.
Um, so that was the only like really like weird thing, but like
Yeah.
other than that, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So they just
solid.
so they what was it everything from like the gear that you guys got there to the workouts, the judging, like everything was just completely different than you've like had in
Oh
years
yeah.
past.
Like it started straight up since like um even like communication, like we would they would communicate through us through like a portal.
Hmm.
Like we got your hotel done, your you booked your own flights, but like and then they like give you a stipend depending on where you're coming from.
Mm.
Um Making sure your hotel is okay and like um from check-in, like check-in's freaking fun. Like you saw the kilts that we all got.
Yeah, yeah. Did
Made
you get to,
yeah,
you
they
got to
made
keep
like a
those?
whole experience. Yeah, oh yeah.
Are
They
you
they
gonna bust
asked, well they asked yeah. Well they asked I remember they were like emailing us and asking us for sizing and I was just like they were like email or they were like measure from your like belly button down to like below your knee and I was like, what is this for?
it?
And that was like really weird sizing. And then when I saw they put like the story about like making, like you could see them making the kit, and you're like, oh, they're making sense.
Okay, yeah. So what
So
competition
like,
are you gonna bust that out in a competition sometime?
uh, no, but it is the hit like they had like a local company make it and it was really nice.
Okay.
Like told us like the history behind it. Like each single color is like stands for something. Like
That's
it's really
dope.
special.
Yeah.
They had like a certificate from like the government for like it was
Oh,
crazy.
wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so like yeah, these colors are specifically for like the Rogue family colors or something like that.
Okay.
And they were 100% wool, so I was like by the time I got to the golfing part of the check-in, I was like sweating balls. And like yeah, it was hot. Like it was I get why they wear the kilts, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And so yeah, and like they were just it was just all around great experience. Like the volunteers were amazing.
Yeah.
And you could genuinely tell they're like pumped to be there too.
That's
So
awesome. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So
yeah,
so they like treated you like a professional athlete then.
yeah. And
Yeah.
like it was nice like not having that pressure of like, oh my gosh, like I need to I'm spending so much money to be here and you're like, I'm gonna get the money back. Like,
Right. Right.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's awesome.
And more, like, you know, if you do better. So
Right, right. Yeah, that's awesome. So it was just an all around like great experience there.
yeah, yeah.
Do you
And I think everyone thinks that way too.
do you think it's possible for other competitions to run like that, or you think just the size of Rogue allows them to do that?
The size of Rogue and the way just Rogue does like, you know, they do like the Bitcoin thing. And then
Oh yeah, they pay out
yeah,
they pay out in
yeah,
Bitcoin, right?
the Bitcoin starts and I think it goes only up, which is great. So like it can I mean obviously it can go back down because Bitcoin will fluctuate
Yeah, yeah.
and stop like well, but like um
Wait, because when you say Bitcoin, like they pay you guys out in Bitcoin, right?
no, they'll pay us out in or in USD, but um it like they have I forgot what it's on their website, but they had a thing where it would like they bought some Bitcoin that went towards the iron or the prize purse. They did, I think, shirts. If you bought any shirts at the venue, those went towards our prize purse. So like lots of things that can allow the
Oh.
prize purse to keep climbing.
Okay. So they invest money into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Depending on how Bitcoin's doing, they're able to pull
Yeah.
some of that and invest that into
Yeah.
the prize purse. So they're like, "Hey, we're gonna give away $10,000. Like, we'll just arbitrary number. We're gonna give
Yeah.
away $10,000 at Rogue next year. We're gonna do that. And we're gonna buy Bitcoin,
Mm.
and whatever Bitcoin's at, that's gonna be the prize purse for next year, something
Yeah.
like
And
that.
I mean, obviously, the contributions were like, I forgot. There was a bunch of contributions. And I'm sure that some of the sponsors poured into it. But
Okay.
yeah, that's why the prize purse is like equivalent to the games,
Okay.
or if not more, like, or for at least first place.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Right.
So it's they and of course their business is
Doing very well.
like very you know yeah. Rogue equipment is easily one of the best CrossFit equipment. So
Right. Right. Yeah.
um, but yeah, like I think it's staying there. I think
Okay.
it's staying in Scotland for a bit. So
Oh, okay.
that'll be
Interesting.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know any of the why they moved it there in the first place, or?
Katie Henniger said that it just um so Rob, one of the head judges, and I pretty sure he's from CrossFit Aberdeen.
Okay.
So I think it just something aligned up that they were like, let's get out of Texas, or
Mm.
we can get out of Texas, and um, that she just said the timing was right and venue and stuff like that. Because like
Mm.
honestly, the hotel and the venue were connected. So we literally just like
Oh,
took a 5 minute walk to it was super yeah, and so like the way
very
the
cool.
logistics were very nice, and I think
Yeah.
they planned it in a way like this will be good for the athletes, this will be good for the spectators, this will be so like it all just came together, and that's just yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very cool. That's yeah, they run. I remember the first year that they had it. I don't remember what year it was, but I just remember watching it the first year and was like, "Oh, this is CrossFit. Like
Yeah.
this brought the
Yeah.
excitement of CrossFit back."
Yeah. Like I almost feel more excited back in the past to watch Rogue than I it was at the games for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's how the games were back in like 2011, 12, and 13. I think 15, 16, and 17 and even 18 were like its peak, but
Mm,
it lost its feel of like the 11, 12, and 13 and 14. I don't know if
yeah.
that makes sense or not, but like it felt like Rogue feels now, if that makes sense.
Mm, yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean they they do a really good job.
yeah, yeah.
Like whatever they're doing, they need to keep doing. They don't need to change
Just keep it up. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. That's sweet. Well, hopefully you'll qualify again next year here.
Yeah, qualify in some form, whatever
Yeah.
form that is.
Right,
Yeah,
right. So, awesome. Well, we're at a little over an hour here and we tend to lose traction at 45 minutes.
I know.
So hopefully hopefully people stayed on for that last part though. So,
It's okay.
well, thanks for coming on, Dana.
Yeah,
It was a lot
thanks
of
for
fun to
having
have
me.
you. Thanks for listening, guys. How do people follow you on social media, find you, get a hold of you, whatever?
Usually Instagram is the best. I don't know if you could put that in there, but Instagram is usually my easiest way. I don't
Okay.
ever look at my Facebook, so don't try to go to
Does
my
anybody
Facebook.
anymore?
No, it's just, and honestly, it's just all lowercase Dana Prawn
Okay.
on Instagram. Yeah.
Sweet. Awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks again for coming on, Dana.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll catch you guys next